Hi, and welcome to my very awkward intro. My name is Susan/Bambi, and this is Bambi's Rambles. As you can tell by the title today, this is the very first episode of my true crime podcast. I'm trying it out, getting my feet wet, and we know that Susan doesn't do things well on her own, so she's enlisted the help of
Jose, hubby,
hubby/Jose/hairdresser/monkey.
Slap everything. I hope that everyone's well, and I'm excited to join my baby here on her new podcast section.
Yeah.
Of her channel.
Yeah.
And I hope that I can add some things to the cases.
You know what, babe? I know that you think you're not smart, but you are, and you think about things very differently than I do.
Yeah, so but you're smarter than me, so let's just put that on the record.
So if you guys like this format, if you don't like this format, feel free to politely tell me what you think in the comments. If you're going to rag on me, I will cry, so don't do that, but just let me know what you guys think. And we're mostly going to do Australian true crime cases, some solved, some unsolved, things like that. So for today's first episode, episode 1, how cute is that? Will be the RACKMAN mystery. If you have heard of this case or know anything about this case, let me know down in the comments below if I miss anything. I did struggle with this one because I could not find that much concrete information on this.
Yeah. So I've known a few RACKMAN in my
oh
lifetime.
My god. Not that many consistent things.
Nothing concrete that we found anyway.
Right? So if I get anything wrong, please let me know and tell me where you found this information, because I have been on a struggle street with this.
A lot of it is similar, but not, like I said, nothing concrete.
Yeah. So some people, they say things, but it's not. It's similar. You're right. It's similar. Yeah. The only thing people got right was one thing, and I'll tell you later on. But anyway, now we're taking you back to August 1944. A fisherman by the name of Mark Peterson.
Can I just correct you? 1994?
Didn't I say that?
You said 1944.
Did I really?
You're taking us way back.
I did say, did I say 1944? Do you know why I said 1944? Because that's when my nonna was born. The war ended in 1945, just so everyone knows.
This isn't about your nonna, this is about the RACKMAN.
I'm sorry. Okay, back to the story. See, why did I bring you in here? You meant to make me feel better, not worse.
No, I said I was going to add a few things.
Yeah.
What.
So, in August 1944, a fisherman by the name of Mark Peterson, see, Peterson's at it again, Scott and Lacey Peterson, Michael Peterson.
Peter Peterson.
Who's Peter Peterson?
He's a cricketer.
Was fishing out on the Hawkesbury River in Sydney. Now, Jose and I were thinking before, where the heebie-jeebies is Hawkesbury River in Sydney?
We're not, me personally, I'm not familiar with Sydney.
So Sydney, we are both not familiar with, so I couldn't tell you,
And if you're thinking about moving to Sydney, don't
do it. Don't do it. If you're going to come to Australia, come to Melbourne, but don't go to Sydney. It's too expensive there. Ain't nothing going on up there. Anyway, they had a really, really good burger place there in Sydney. Anyway, and pulled up the body of a man with a large net, probably thinking that he'd set some sort of fishing record.
He's probably trying to catch crabs, maybe?
I
don't know. I don't know.
One article said that he thought he'd pulled up a giant squid.
Okay. I'm not a fisherman, so I don't know. I thought for fish you only use fishing rods, but
maybe he was a fishmongerer. Is that a word? Is that a thing?
I'm not a fisherman. I don't know.
For any fishermen down below, let us know what you.
I don't catch fish. I eat it.
Well, so you're lazy. You'd be terrible as a caveman.
No, because I'd get someone to fish for me, and then I'd be like, I'll eat it, you catch it.
And I'd be the idiot out there doing it, wouldn't I?
You're not a fisherman either, don't.
I thought you were going to say I wasn't an idiot. We've established that everyone thinks I'm an idiot. Anyway, guys, if you came to a true crime podcast just for us to get to the point, you have come to the wrong place because, as we know, I ramble. So, thank you for joining us. That's the end of the show. No, I'm joking. Help me.
The body.
So instead, it was the body of an unknown man that was badly decomposed. Now listen to this. This is where people have gone bananas. This man was attached to a steel cross. And at every limb, so around his neck and all his limbs, his elbow, his wrist, everything was, some articles said rope, some articles said wire. All his joints was tied around so it would make sure that he stayed connected and did not drift away from the cross.
Yeah.
Another thing about this cross is that it was actually made to scale.
And this is going back to what we were speaking about before, about the badly decomposed body. If the water slows down the decomposition, or does it accelerate it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I'm not a forensic person, so...
You're a painter.
I'd love to know that, though. What the water does to the body.
I think it goes off, like, different cases, doesn't it? Like, different...
Because it says badly decomposed, so...
Yeah. So it was said that he was in there for 12 months. I'm getting confused now.
Why?
So the coroner ruled the death as blunt force trauma, stating there was no evidence to say whether he died before or after he was placed on the cross, or before or after he was placed in the water. Now, I don't know. I'm not going to argue with the coroner. He's got more, you know, on his resume than I do.
I'd still argue with him.
You'd argue with anybody, wouldn't you? You'd argue with a brick wall for fun.
On a good day, I'd argue with anybody about anything.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to argue with him, but I honestly cannot say what, like, if the death was ruled as blunt force trauma, right? And he went in the water, wouldn't he drown? Wouldn't you see signs of, like, drowning?
Yeah. Well, if he was unconscious, then when he went, but then you would be able to tell whether he.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, if he was dead.
What isn't it like water in the lungs?
Yeah.
Or dry drowning, but I don't know. I just feel like, again,
I feel like there's a way. Maybe not in that time, but that's the 90s. So
yeah,
like what do you call it? The
forensics.
The forensics would be there. Like, it's not that much longer to now.
Yeah,
it's not that, like, way back.
Yeah,
they didn't have all the scientific tools to be able to figure this out.
Well, yeah. Well, if they could say that they knew that he died from blunt force trauma, like they could say they died of drowning. So I don't know. This is what I was getting at with this. Is probably not my best choice of a case to pick for my first ever one, because there's so many ups and downs with this. You know, like, you don't know whether you're getting the whole story because everyone's telling you a different thing.
Yeah.
But
you never know. There might be someone out there that's
bit more informed than what I am.
Yeah. And
I'm not that well versed in Australian true crime, so I find it very interesting. I've always been more into the American true crime. So yeah, but anyway, now this, because he was in the water for said 12 months, again, no luck with fingerprints, and he was wearing a very basic brand of clothing. So it's something you'd find in Walmart, something you find in Kmart, Target. It's mass-produced.
Everlast.
Yes. So something that's mass-produced.
Adidas.
Where... Not like that.
Adidas. Adidas is basic.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. So they couldn't find anything unique. It's not like he's wearing a couture, gown or something. So you couldn't say, like, for certain where he got it from or when or whatever. But he wasn't carrying any ID, no money, no nothing like that. But he did have on him a packet of cigarettes and a pink lighter.
True Aussie style.
That's right.
That's how you know it's an Australian case.
Yeah.
Don't forget the diaries, right?
So there was nothing really unique, right? So what they did was, what they're doing a lot of Jane and John Doe cases. Jose, is yawning. Am I boring you, sir?
No.
You sure? You here?
I'm
You're,
sure.
you're available?
I'm listening.
All right. So I'm going to end up getting out my kazoo in a minute and waking him up.
Your boomerang.
So, what was I saying? I'm so sorry.
So there was nothing unique about it.
Yeah, there was nothing unique about it. So in a lot of Jane and John Doe cases, they do the recomposition where they take the skull and they have a clay figure made of what their face would look like, you know. Yeah. So it's like a sketch type thing, but everyone knows what I mean. I'm not very good on my words.
All the sketching and all that, and all the recomposition of like clay recomposition, I find it so interesting how they just from a skull, like they're able to figure out what someone
and
look like.
Do you know what else? Do you know why sometimes when you look at those sorts of things, they scare you a little bit or they freak you out a little bit, and you think to yourself, no one would ever look like that. They actually look at those things and they think that, you know, just say someone's got a bit of a big snoz and it's a lump in the snoz, right? They make it bigger and more of a lump in the snoz because if it's magnified, you will remember it better. So they do that on purpose.
Okay.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that. That sounds like something Papa Lazy would say.
Because that is what Papa Lazy said.
Oh, really?
Yes, in his last video. It's true.
There you go. Your mama lazy.
I'm Mama Lazy now, guys. Mama Lazy. So they did that, and there were a few different people that they thought could have been the RACKMAN. First of them was because they mainly thought that this guy was him because he went missing around the time that it was a year beforehand. He had the same looks as him. He was a Mediterranean look to him. Same height, same everything, same age. Everything was very, very, very similar. Now, this man's name was Joe Bavario. Joe Bavario. And he was a convicted drug dealer who went missing from a suburb in inner western Sydney. Right?
Yeah.
And, you know, he was the main person that everyone was like, this is him, this is him, this is him.
And being a convicted drug dealer, you'd think
you
cross someone the wrong way.
That's right. Don't cross us, which was one of the many things that the police said when this all came about. They said, we cannot, it's very hard to start a case when you don't know who the victim is.
Yeah.
Victimology is not there. You don't know what, you know, if they knew someone that did welding and, you know, they upset them or something. Do you know what I mean?
So, yeah, you want to know the person first.
You want to know the victim before anything else. When they think of putting someone in the water with a cross, they think underworld.
Yeah. Which would make sense, yeah.
Don't cross us. That's a message. You know, didn't we already talk about that?
Yeah, we spoke about that. Yeah. We were speaking about that before. Not on record.
Oh, God.
But also, like you said, for a welder, like if the cross was made
to fit this man,
like, you'd have to have some experience because I've done welding, and it's not.
See,
easy.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
It's not easy. Like welding's hard.
Yeah.
So you'd have to have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience in welding to be able to.
Yeah.
First, get it to size, and then, you know, do the welding, all the welds, all the whatever the joint, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
You know, strong enough to hold the body.
Yeah. So that's for 20 odd years they thought it was this man, Joe Bavario, could have been him, right? There was another man who also had links to organised crime. He was Chris Dale Flannery, known as Underworld Hitman. Listen to his name. Mr. Rent-A-Kill. Mr. Rent-A-Kill.
Mr. Rent-A-Kill.
It's like Dial a Doctor. It's got a ring to it. It's got a ring to it.
Would it be in the Yellow Pages?
You know what? I think he might have been.
Yeah.
This was way before Facebook and Craigslist.
Yeah, you'd have to find him on the yellow pages.
Yep. Right under kill. What a vibe. What a vibe.
Just go to K and you'll find Rent to Kill.
Yeah, Mr. Rent-A-Kill. Now, why they thought it was him was in the 1985 or 1984, 1985, there was a hit taken, or failed hit, attempted hit taken out on him and his family. They shot up his house and they were not hurt, they were not injured, but they moved away from that area into another suburb in Sydney. And he was last seen on the 9th of May, 1985, near Liverpool. Now, Liverpool is another suburb within Sydney.
Yeah.
And he was never seen again. But, again, 1985, it's not 1 year.
That's almost 10 years off.
Do you know what I mean? But he was said to be, that's who they thought it could have been.
Yeah.
The third person is a Mr. King's Cross businessman named Peter Metris. Cannot say his last name. I'm so sorry.
And if you are familiar with King's Cross, there's a lot of
yes. I was just about to say.
Businessman.
Yeah. No one can see your quotations, babe. It's not a video.
There's a lot of shady characters in King's Cross.
Yeah, King's Cross is a bit like a strip of
It's like Sin City.
Yeah. There's a lot of nightlife, there's a lot of underworld crime, there's a lot of drugs, a lot of, a lot of things. And informants and things like that had heard rumours around that he was actually beaten by underworld figures and chucked into the water. So they thought that could have been him as well.
Yeah.
But when they did DNA testing in 2018, some people said that it was done in 2016, some say 2018, but I'm going to go with 2018 because the majority of them said 2018.
Whether it's 2016 or 2018, that's a long time.
A long time. A long, long, long time. It actually turned out to be a 37-year-old man named Max TANCEVSKI. Now, Max was a 37-year-old man who was born on May 13th, 1956. He went missing on the 11th of January 1993 by his he was last seen by his partner, who he shared a home with in Sydney, on his way to a gambling trip on the Gold Coast.
Okay.
So how can we explain the Gold Coast as opposed to Sydney? So he come from the west of Sydney.
So the Gold Coast is very popular, especially for gambling. The casinos up in Queensland are very popular.
Yeah.
It's North Queensland, so it's far North Queensland. Oh, I wouldn't say far North Queensland, but
I wouldn't say far north either.
It's the North Queensland, so the top of Australia.
And how far is the drive?
And it's probably about I'd say an 8-hour drive.
Yeah, 8-hour drive. And shortly before leaving for his trip, he went and got a large amount of money out of his bank account, which was not abnormal for him. His partner was not concerned that he was gone because he normally goes for anywhere between 3 to 5 days. But when he had not returned by the 5th day, he hadn't made contact with anybody, no one had seen him, he was reported missing. So he was reported missing in Queensland and New South Wales because they did not know whether he had made it to his destination. So they did not know whether he, something happened in Sydney or something happened in Queensland. But we have so many different theories as to what happened to him because the killer or killers have not been caught.
After that long, they haven't been caught?
They have not been caught.
So... And if you're from Australia and you've ever driven from New South Wales to Queensland, it's a lot of, how would you say, it's a lot of bush?
Yep, a lot of bush.
There's a lot of bush from Queensland to New South Wales.
Yep.
There's not much happening. There's barely, even now, there's barely any like highway patrol or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's no way of knowing whether this guy would have made it from here to there. There's a lot that could have happened in that big, I think it's 8-hour drive.
Yeah.
So it could have happened.
But once they found him, now they know that he did not even leave Sydney.
Oh, so he never made it to GC.
Yeah. So they were saying that, so they had to file a missing persons report in GC and in Sydney. Because they did not know anything of whether he'd ended up at his destination or not. So what they've come to the conclusion of is that he did not leave Sydney. He did die on the 11th or 12th of January in 1993.
Yeah.
There are a few different theories. One theory is due to so he was a serious gambler.
Yeah.
He made frequent trips to casinos, in Sydney and GC. And they didn't know whether it could have been linked to loan sharks or someone where he's, borrowed money, not returned it, has some sort of debt.
That would be my...
That would be your guess?
That would be my guess, because around that time, in the 90s, the underworld was really big. The government didn't have a handle on it. So there was a lot of loan sharks out there, a lot of guys that own multiple businesses would just throw money at people. They knew that they couldn't pay it back, and then they'd go out and
outrageous interest rates.
Yeah, outrageous interest. And people, people being desperate, or people like gamblers and stuff like that, they'd just be like, yeah, I'll pay it back. And
sometimes when you're deep in the addiction of gambling, you honestly, any addiction, but with gambling, you are sometimes so convinced the next one's my big win, next one's my big win, next one's my big win. So you think, I'm going to win for sure, and I can pay this money back.
That was my guess. Like, he probably thought, I'm gonna win big. He probably got a large amount of money, thinking, I'm gonna win, be able to pay it back, and obviously have some to myself.
Yeah.
And obviously he didn't win, and wasn't able to pay it back. And these guys weren't the type of cats that you'd want to mess with and want to owe anything to, even $50. Like,
nah,
you don't want to owe these guys anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you haven't, like, if you're from Australia, if you're not from Australia, if you watch
Underbelly,
all the underworld stuff, that these guys would put you in your grave for words.
Yeah, for nothing. They just didn't give a shit. They just did whatever they wanted. And so that's a big theory, but there are some other theories where people are really, really focused on the idea that he was on a crucifix, and this comes to some occult, religious, satanic aspect. I'm just going to throw it out there what I think of that. I think that is a bunch of bullshit. I think that's stupid, and if you think that, you're an idiot, that's stupid, because the most logical reason is always the fucking reason.
Yeah.
Yes, putting him on the crucifix and everything like that, it does sound intense, it does sound demonic, it does sound all these things. But you stick him on, it's graphic, but you stick him on a piece of heavy steel. You put him in the water. What do you think they're thinking in that time? I want him to get to the bottom of the river and never come back up. It is to weigh him down.
Yeah, you're right, because if it was some part of like the satanic, like a cult thing, or cult related, his body, they would have done something to his body, or they would have satanic shit.
Yeah, and I think that when it comes to that sort of stuff, people, in my opinion, people that are more into the occult side of things, or satanics and all that sort of stuff, they very much want the recognition.
Yeah.
They want the recognition, they want the attention, they want the shock value. Something like this is not going to get you shock value unless the media portrays it that way. I don't think it was that. I don't think it had anything to do with the cross. I think it was just the perfect thing to stick him to hold him down.
Yeah.
Because if if you think about it, right? If you think about it, just say they tied him to this, just say it wasn't a crucifix. It was just one straight metal rod, right? One straight one. In their mind, if they're intelligent or whatever it might be, they wouldn't want his arms to come off. That's why they tied him at every joint. Because
so you're not able to move at all.
Well, not to move at all, because just say some sort of sea animal, sea creature, bit off something and his arm come to the top. These people might think, oh, we don't want him to be caught floating anywhere because we don't want to draw attention to ourselves.
What a way to die, though, if he was alive.
It's incredibly sad. Incredibly sad.
Like, it's like, it would be like being paralyzed.
Yeah.
Like, you're conscious, but you're not. You can't do anything. You can't.
You can't do anything, and it's incredibly sad. But I don't. But that's what gets me, like, it shits me, is because people want to go around with the whole demonic thing and the whole satanic thing and make it salacious and make it newsworthy and headline worthy, because they focused a lot more. That's what annoyed me too, is they focused a lot more on the whole crucifix element of the case instead of telling me about who this man was. Yeah. Was he a father? Was he a businessman? Was there anything about this man that we should know so we can try and, you know, find out who ended his life before his time? Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone just worried that he was put on a cross.
Yeah.
Instead of worried about him as a person.
Yeah. To me, like, the whole cross thing, it doesn't have the wow factor to be, like, cult related, because, like you said, they'd want the recognition. They'd do something graphic or something that would catch people's eye for that. I mean, it is a horrible thing to do to someone.
Absolutely,
put them on a
absolutely.
Cross,
it's terrible.
Think it has that factor to be attached to something cultish or satanic.
Yeah, I just feel like people are going too further.
It inclines more to underworld.
Yeah.
From my experience watching The Sopranos, I mean, that's something that they would do. Like, that's something that, you know, I watched a lot of like, how would you say, underworld, gangster, like, movies and shows. I watched The Sopranos like 7 times. I watched the whole season 7.
We should watch The Sopranos.
It's really good, but yeah, a lot of the things that they did on there is, it does give me the feels that it's like underworld related.
Yeah, I honestly think
because they just want to get it done and dusted. They don't want.
Yeah, they don't want to mess around. They don't want no one to find the body. They ain't got time for that.
And they don't want the wow factor to be like, oh look, they've done this to the body. No, they just want to get rid of the body. That's it.
Yeah, I think it was mainly to weigh the body down, keep it in the water, to, you know, conceal all evidence of his body and all these sorts of things, because these other men that I mentioned earlier, Joe Bavario, Peter Mintras, I cannot say his last name, I don't mean any disrespect, but I cannot say it, and Christopher Dale Flannery, Mr. Rent-A-Kill, all 3 of those men have never been found and have never been seen again.
Yeah.
A lot of gangland, underworld sorts of stuff like that in Australia, a lot of them just go missing.
It's the way that they do it.
You know, and I was literally about to talk about Mick Gatto, then I'm like, I don't talk about Mick Gatto. I don't talk about Mick Gatto.
The pigs.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not being found, so I don't think this is a cult-related thing at all, but I would really like to hear what everybody else thinks.
On the Mick Gatto subject, though, I've sat next to that guy in a boxing match. He's a nice guy.
Nice guy?
You wouldn't think, oh, I'm scared of this guy. He'd throw me in the river.
Look, I don't want to know.
He's
I
a
don't want to
lovely
know.
person, personally.
Yeah, you like him? You think he's a nice guy?
Well, yeah,
All right,
I
good.
thought he was great.
Yeah.
We had a meal together, had a beer.
Yeah.
Could have shared at that, but didn't go outside.
Ah, look at you.
I think for me
and it's very sad that there's no answers to find out what happened to Max. You know, I understand a lot of people being, you know, the wow factor about his death and things like that, but I would really like to know more about him. more
There's
about
not
his
much
life.
said about him, is there?
That's
in
the
any
thing.
articles, there's not about,
That's the
nothing
thing.
about his
I
life.
was not going to do this case because I could not find enough. And it bothers me when I don't have all the right information and I can't put it in a long-winded video or a long-winded podcast and tell you everything that I know. But this is as much as what I could find. And I was like, you know what? If I could just put it out there about Max TRUE, I cannot say his last name for the life of me.
Max TANCEVSKI.
TANCEVSKI. TANCEVSKI.
Yeah.
Okay. I do have a stutter, friends. Cannot pronounce words properly. I apologize. But I really just want to hear what you guys think. What do you guys think happened?
I'd really love to see any other theories that other people have about it. Because I was just thinking in my head, what if he wasn't underworld? What if he wasn't related to cult? What if he was just someone that he borrowed money off that was like, nah. Someone that just...
Yeah, could be a number of
had a
things.
temper, you know?
Could be a number of things. And I don't want to sit here and say, oh, maybe it was his partner or something, because I don't think the police would be that silly to like just...
Let her go, yeah.
Let her not, you know what I mean? Like not dig into her further. I don't want to run her name through the mud anyway, because I couldn't imagine losing my partner this way and not knowing where he was for 20 odd years.
Yeah.
So I won't say that, but there's so many different theories, And do you know, I would really like to, I'm not saying that I'm right or I know, but I would really like to think that he was placed on the cross after, just to be used as an anchor.
You like to think that, yeah.
I would like to think that, but that is me with my wishful thinking.
Yeah.
I don't wish these sorts of things upon anybody. But I feel as though this will have to be the end of our first ever episode of True Crime and Slumber Time, because we're about to go slumber time.
Slumber time.
And I really hope everyone enjoyed this. I was very nervous. Jose will tell you.
She was very nervous. She didn't want to get it wrong, but I think it's gone well. You
know, as we've seen in a lot of my videos, I don't do well with scripts. I don't do well with like, what's the word I'm looking for? Where it's like thought through words. You know what I mean?
Yeah, scripted.
Scripted. See what I mean? I'm
Why
not...
do you need to find a different word? Just scripted.
Yeah, like I'm not a very scripted person, and I like to just go with the flow, and I like to ramble, but I feel like I have to have some level of...
Do you remember in school when people used to say, oh, you know, I'm just easy going, go with the flow, and you'd get one dickhead who'd be like, only dead fish go with the flow, and you'd be like, you're about to be a dead fish now. Like, I thought that was so insulting. Like, who do you think you are, bro? You think you're an alive fish? And I'm not.
But that's the thing, I am very go with the flow, and I feel like with these sorts of things like true crime, I know everyone's been telling me to do true crime.
Like, you're very structured in your life.
Yeah.
You like structure, but when it comes to this, I don't think that structure works for you. You like to just...
I don't,
top of your head as you go.
Because that's how I like to film.
Yeah.
That's how I like to do my channel. Do you know what I mean? Like, I prefer it that way. That's just how I work. Like, I don't know. But I feel as though some level of respect, like, should be having more structured videos.
Yeah. But rest in peace, Max TANCEVSKI.
Yes.
I do hope that they get some sort of
closure for you and your family,
and
yeah.
some sort of justice for whoever did what they did. Because that is a horrible thing to do to someone.
Absolutely,
So I hope that for the family's sake, for, you know, justice for the family and for him, I hope that they...
Yeah, and you know what? It took him 20, 25 years to find out who he, like, give him a name. But let's hope that it's not another 25 years till we see justice. But at the same time, better late than never.
As long as justice is done.
Yeah.
But like you said earlier in the episode, that it's hard for them to find anything without knowing who the person was. So I think that them knowing who it is,
Yeah.
having an identity to that person, I think that
Yeah.
that opens a lot of doors.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I did not find whether this is a closed case or not. It's probably not closed, but I didn't see anything like that online. A lot of the questions that I have when I go into looking at stuff like this, the rabbit holes I go down, I could not answer a lot of them with this case. So I apologize. But I hopefully will get better at this because I do enjoy it. True crime is something that I have been passionate about since I was a wee child at the age of 5, 6 years old. So very inappropriate for my parents to share this sort of stuff with me, wasn't it?
Old, yeah.
Well, I was watching fucking CSI with Mum when I was little.
Yeah. Well, Devante watches it sometimes.
Yeah.
He does.
So I'm a terrible mother. But anyway.
Thank you for listening. I was going to say thank you for watching, but thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. So, yeah.
Are you going to give us a little bit of an idea of what your next case would be, or?
The next case does actually have a bit of a demonic idea suggestion to it.
Ooh.
There is a lot of theories with this case, and it's very, very, very interesting. And I hope that I will have more information for that case next week that I'll be doing.
Beautiful. Look forward to it.
Are you coming back for another one?
I might come back, yes. I really like this one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I'm so glad, baby.
I hope that everyone enjoys just as much as I did.
I hope so. And if everyone hates it, that's okay. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I will cry. So if you want to make me cry...
And just remember that if we do make jokes, I know they're serious, serious crimes and
stuff
like that.
It is serious content. I understand that. But I am the type of person to make jokes when something is serious. I am the type of person to, unfortunately, laugh at a funeral. Like, I am just uncomfortable with very, very serious things.
But you also so.
Shut your mouth, boy. Anyway, friends, I love you all so much. Be sure to like, subscribe, send a pigeon, wash your hair. I don't know, do whatever you want. Love you all. Say bye.
Bye.